Over the years, I've collected a large amount of reel-to-reel tapes. Most of them have content related to supernatural and paranormal phenomena. Now we're going to listen to those formerly lost recordings, and we're about to get real lost. Hey everybody, John Tenney here, the host of Real Lost. If you don't know who I am, my name is John Tenney. I'm a researcher and investigator of strange phenomena, paranormal phenomena, folkloric belief systems, anything and everything weird. Over the course of the years of investigating strange phenomena, I've had the opportunity to collect a large number of reel-to-reel recordings, some of which I've never even listened to. I just haven't had the players to listen to them, so I don't know what's on a lot of them. Some of them I do. But this show is going to give me the opportunity to listen to them and then share them with you. These recordings in some cases are 50 and 60 years old. They're falling apart. So I really wanted to get them set down in a digital format or some type of format where I could share them with people before they actually do become lost forever to history. Once the tapes get old enough, they just crumble into dust. And so for our first episode, I decided to dig right in, and off the list of reel-to-reel recordings that I have, I took the top one, which belonged to a man named Owen Welsh, who in 1952 requested a channeling session from a psychic medium and had some questions about his past lives. He had some health issues and his karma. You will hear in the recording not Owen, because the request is made by writing to him. He would send it off to the psychic medium. They would record the reel-to-reel tape channeling session and then send it back to him. So you will hear a woman reading Owen's questions, and then you'll hear the channeler answering them. Again, I really kind of implore you to fight through some of the bad recording qualities. There's some interesting stuff in there when they start talking about past lives. And I hope you find these recordings as interesting as I do. And I'll be posting probably one a week until I run out. So probably a full year of Real Lost recordings. So first up, Channeling for Health, Episode 1. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the other side of the recording.
You will get information initially which may be of help or significance to this individual. And following this, whether it is given or not, you will answer questions as they are asked in accordance with the needs and the suggestions involved. Owen D. Welsh was born November the 20th, 1895, Bridgeton, Indiana.
We have the request and the individual indicated in the request. We are ready for questions at this time.
What is the purpose of this incarnation?
The entity entered in this experience to learn, for one thing, to learn that it means more to have a sense of sharing with others than of holding in oneself. To some extent, the entity has achieved that purpose and has learned this lesson in a number of ways. To be certain, it took a long time to learn it in the experience of the entity. The entity also came in to learn persistence. But for a long time, it seems the only thing that persisted in the entity was through stubbornness, the inability to persist and be steadfast. The entity was very sure of what the entity wanted, but often not at all willing to put out the effort to see that it was completed or achieved. The entity added what in some ways may be considered somewhat of a sensual side. Periods of life there has been perhaps too much of a focus on those things which relieve of the satisfaction of the body or the desires of the amplification of same within the mind. For the entity seeks in this experience to let off and realize that these things are not what deeply satisfy something more meaningful, the ways of the spirit, the love that comes from that. And so the entity has yet to learn this fully, but has achieved toward this in this experience. The entity has come in to some extent to make amends for cruelties perpetrated upon others in the late period of the Roman Empire, and thus in the encounter with other individuals, the laying on of the hands, the healing, manipulations, adjustments. The entity has found in many cases where even there were difficulties, the need to give in himself in order to feel a sense of cooperation or desire to even help another. Actually, inwardly, there has been a knowing that here is an opportunity to make amends for cruelties perpetrated in another life. So sometimes the path has seemed drudgerous and hard, and a conflict of wills. The entity has sought to make amends on a conscious level for hardnesses and cruelties in other lives. So is it any wonder that the way has not been easy, but that there has been satisfaction here and there? Next.
I would like information. I would like information about past lives and how they have affected this life.
One there has already been mentioned to the Roman experience. This would be from the times around the 3rd century AD. And we look now into other experiences. Well, the entity was there in the Crusades. One who, as the others, following the illusion, believed in the cause and sought it with the sword. Perhaps the entity's strong periods of expression of will in this lifetime at times, and then often a regretting for the way of having taken that attitude, is a karmic expression from this experience of strength of will, which the life ended at the age 43, the Crusades. We go back further. The entity has had both male and female incarnations. There have been 3 Egyptian incarnations. In one of these, the entity, at varying periods of the life, acted as a priest of sorts within the temples. And this period was during the Ptolemaic reign in Egypt. In some ways, through their studies and the desires to find the various means, was about land for healing or for the inducement of dreams, the entity gained and benefited because benefit was incurred by others.
May I answer
Yes.
the telephone?
In some ways, however, the entity lost, due to some extent, a selfishness of means, utilizing the influences to some extent for the ends of self. In this experience, then, the interest in the unusual, even the art of healing, aspects of the body, and also related to the mind and spirit, and interest in these have come beneficially from this experience and from others. We see that the entity did dwell amongst the Jewish peoples also much earlier, in the times of the reign of David, Solomon. Thus in these times the entity would do well to seek the inspiration also from those Psalms of David, to bring the strength, spiritual character, and persistence of his head at that time, and the intuitive nature in, even now. And of course also be close to those things of the New Testament for inspiration, the newer aspects of the understanding of life. Next.
I would like information about the karma on which I have been paying or collecting.
This should be somewhat clear from the things that have been indicated, or as may be deduced from saying. We have discussed then some things which you have sought at an unconscious level to make amends in this life experience. And the difficulties here in attempting to make these amends are those that might well be expected in the karmic forces. Now in these times in the life, it is important through love to turn to forgiveness things that seem to have been hardships and hurts to self in body, mind, and spirit, emotionally and otherwise, in this lifetime. This will tend to bring more of a release and a sense of living in grace and love. Then some of the influences as to past lives have already given indications, the karmic influences which the entity is and has been experiencing. The senses yet of dissatisfaction to some extent and lack of fulfillment in the entity's life yet, to some extent them, should only be an indication that the entity in this lifetime is, if the entity will accept it, completing a cycle activities and has an opportunity if faith and enough spiritual application of the mind by meditation and prayer at this stage of the life can be done. Brings a sense of peace, forgiveness, and love more, even in the relationship to others. They may know that self is beginning to glimpse the influences the more of love and God within the life, that the entity may step into this new cycle of experience and be attuned toward this new vibration and influence that comes over the world even now, at this very time, leaves the time when his light is seen again within the skies toward the end of the century. For the entity will be here in those times, not in this body, but in another body, useful and vital, if the entity will seek to step and move, release, love the more, just now. Forgiveness within self and release, and prayer may bring a release of the senses of dissatisfaction and karma that at times burden the mind and body now. Just have faith. Know that his promises are true. Know that even now ye may become an inspiration. Or God through you may be, love through you may be, unto others encountered. Then know that there is so much to live for, that there is no time to regret or resent or to grumble, but rather in review to be thankful. For you can see, if you will go over the things we've said that the entity has come in to achieve, that well the forces have been set in place for a conscious realization of these things. Be thankful. So much has the opportunity to be fulfilled. Next.
Do I have any abilities, psychic or otherwise, that I should develop?
Yes, the entity is intuitive. The entity has seen intuitive glimpses throughout the life. It's often been hard for the entity to make practical of these intuitive glimpses, but the entity has had these at different stages throughout the life. They've shown themselves in dreams, particularly earlier in the life, and in conscious intuitions. Now at this stage, seek to develop the dream life, the contact with the unconscious the more clearly and remembered. See that these give symbolic signs within self. Even now you can come to understand them the more. Develop this sense, for it is a psychical sight, a looking at self, guidance, instruction, symbolically through dreams. What is more, by manifesting the things that we've encouraged in self, you will find a greater closeness to the superconscious and unconscious mind, and a greater closeness to the still small voice, that in attitudes taken or in things said when they are right, you'll find a conscious sense of confidence and faith that you haven't even found before yet in this lifetime, which is a definite sort of intuitive guidance. This comes about through more prayer and meditation, and more of an attempt even now to express faith in others. If you do this, you will have that sense of knowing when the choice, the opportunity is right. You will have that sense of knowing an inward voice That may certainly be called intuition. That can bring security, faith, the more. As first there is the willingness to attempt to manifest these. See? Next.
What are causes of I cannot read two words here, but it said, I'm sure it says, what are the causes of and aids for my physical condition, which is constipation and indigestion, emphysema in the lungs, and enlarging prostate.
As to the constipation and indigestion, to some extent the aging of these processes has been accelerated through emotional patterns within the life. The activity of these from the adrenal and the adrenal cortex, suppressing certain circulations and lymphatic activities within the alimentary canal. To aid these, improve the attitudes, the love, the trust, the faith that may be manifested in the prayer. Physically speaking, utilize castor oil packs in the lower and the upper abdomen, while across the lower and upper of the right side to the regions of the liver, or the base of the rib cage. Use these somewhat warm for at least 45 minutes at a time. Use these regularly, or 3 to 4 times per week for a while. First, utilize 2 weeks in succession and let off. Then, let there be, after a week or 2 of rest from these. Again, utilize for 1 week, then rest a week, and then again. Continue as such, 3 to 4 times per week. In the interim of these, the first day afterward, let there be a cleansing internally somewhat. It should take this form: 2 tablespoons per day, different times, each tablespoon, mixed with juice or water. Aloe vera gel is available to Phyllis Ann Lee Products, Lyford, Texas. ALOE-VERIGEL. Utilize also 1 teaspoon, or a little less, oil of safflower, to which about 1/4 thereof is oil of olive. Take this internally, slightly warmed, before putting in the mouth. That daily, form 3 days. During the week interim between, as they are regularly every other week at that time. Utilize cleansing of the lower intestinal tract, perhaps through such a enema during this time. Continue after a period of 2 months of use of the packs every other week. The packs every 3rd week, 3 to 4 times per week. Great improvements in the system can be found therefrom. In the dietary forces, see that there are plenty of those that bring the unsaturated fatty acids to the diet, as well as plenty of bulk substance. If you feel too tired, exhausted, or emotional, do not eat a meal. Eat when relaxed. Sometimes a sense of spiritual attunement, prayer, meditation before eating will bring an aid to the alleviation of disturbances here. These will aid in the movement of the bowels, the regularity, and the digestive influences. Through the digestive influences, we're looking these over further. In the beginning of this treatment, with the castor oil packs, let the body utilize supplements of enzymes digestive enzymes. Not after, however, the first month, but in the first 2, 3, or 4 weeks, utilize enzyme supplements, digestive enzyme supplements, including pepsin, and those which may be had or may be found commercially by tablets or otherwise. Now, as to the emphysema, these have an indirect influence from the emotional forces upon the body, period of time. These may be aided in several ways. Do get plenty of the vitamin E within the diet. Sufficient of the unsaturated fatty acids as can be digested. In the upper portions of the lungs, to subject these regions twice a week to radio frequency emanations, a type utilized in the device called diapulse or something similar, and bring about some relief in these areas. The ease of the condition in the intestinal tract should bring about some aid to the condition of the emphysema. A slightly warmed castor oil pack in the upper dorsal regions or across the chest at times, but not with a heating pad, as in the other area of the stomach. Just with the own body temperature or longer period of time may also prove helpful in clearing of irritations peripheral to the lungs. As to the enlargement of the prostate, these come about not alone through external irritations, through the influences within the life of a focus or direction upon these areas too much. Evidence of release, compassion spiritually, and forgiveness for the misuse of the energies that might have been directed in more creativity brought a greater stability of the nervous forces, the healing abilities, and the creativity within the life. Then, in the physical side, utilize Cataplex F as a food supplement distributed through Vitamin Products Company. Utilize also Prostex, distributed, same prepared through standard process laboratories. The castor oil packs recommended for the lower abdomen will go far in aiding the prostate also. These may at times be utilized across the lower back simultaneously with the abdominal areas, and the region ranging from the 12th to 14th dorsal down to the coccyx. These castor oil packs, and would prove beneficial to the region of the prostate. Some slight irradiation of this area with frequencies of the same type mentioned beneficial occasionally for the lungs, not more than twice per week, not a long exposure, not more than 3.5 minutes. The upper regions to 4 minutes, or 3.5 still better perhaps, in this region for up to 5 minutes, twice per week. These are the physical things that will aid, but remember the mental, emotional attitudes, the spiritual outlook that is needed. For if the body would be better, then let it be better as a channel of blessing, as the temple of consciousness, the temple of the presence of God. And what is God but love, that it may be manifested? Then, if he will do these things physically, keeping the attitudes mentally, improvement in all the areas mentioned will be seen. Are there final questions?
Yes. Who am I?
Who am I?
Yes.
Do you come to know this other than through service, love, meditation? No. Be conscious of these things the more, and you will come to know the more, who am I? As an external aspect to same, or an approach to same, studying the book Creation, you would come to understand, what's the association for the understanding of man, just how self as a spiritual being has come into existence, and what you are here for. giving to some extent a conscious or intellectual expression to the question and the answer, who am I? But this cannot be given by the voice of another. It is something that, even with the aid of that mention, must be awakened from within itself. Are there others?
Yeah. Or is there any any other instructions that may be helpful in making a bit more progress?
It is important that the entity now awaken a sense of the expansiveness of the spiritual or soul being of self. This can be done by opening the mind now to the inward experiences that occur in sleep called dreams. Let these come forth the more. Look at them, think of them. See that they show that the soul is active and moving, working within self toward certain ends and goals and instructions. Therefore, may the entity come to know and feel that sense of the soul and spirit working actively. For in these years, as the body seems to have become more cramped and shut down and creating more difficulties, if the entity would like to experience, know that the soul and spirit are as active as ever. And if you turn to that sense of attunement with ease, doing the best you know how in the physical, it will maintain itself in a greater sense of vitality and levity. Till that time when you spiritually will find the knowledge, when that time comes, that you may be free of this body in these times. But yet there is the purpose that the body may be found better through the application of the best things therein. The spirit and mind may become more alert to the purposes set in this particular incarnation. So be about these things if you would find a closer relationship with the spiritual side of yourself. And let it give its evidence, its blessing, its happiness or joy unto others, because these can become more real things within your own life. We are through here for the time. We request that this body, mind, and consciousness awaken in the normal manner. See?
The mind and spirit of the channel now so attunes to the universe and the universal forces which contain the seed of perfection and life in the physical form, that in the physical body, the mental and the emotional forces now, there is that expansion of consciousness whereby the forces of nerves and circulation, skeletal and muscular structure come into a greater harmony with the universal love and devotion of God, and are thereby released to a fuller freedom of life, love, and service.
And there you have it, the first episode of Real Lost, Channeling for Health. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you weren't too weirded out by some of the sounds of the voices. When I was first listening to it, the only editing I did was sometimes with channeling sessions, the channeler will cough a lot or have a lot of throat interruption. I don't know if that's because they're channeling an entity from beyond this reality, but it seems to happen all the time. And it actually was happening in this instance too, not only with the channeler, but with the woman who was reading the questions. And I edited out a lot of the coughing and a lot of the throat clearing because it became so annoying. There you go. The next episode, I'm not sure what's going to be on that tape. I'm just going to pull one from out of the file cabinets and throw it on the recorder. And I hope it will be as curious as this last one. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or desires, you can email me at john@weirdlectures.com. And again, thanks a lot for